It's time to go through what's haunting the shelves of comic book stores this week, May 4th, 2022. And as an added bonus, this Saturday is Free Comic Book Day, and a few of the companies are smart enough to release some FCBD comics of the horror variety. Not as many as I would have hoped, but there's a few cool horror comics worth checking out. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Let's check out This Week in Comic Book Horror, May 4th, 2022. The Living Corpse, Haunted, #1, is from American Mythology. The story is by Keith Thomas, Buzz Hassan, Ken Haser, with art by Blair Smith, Buzz Hassan, and Ken Haser. This one-shot reprints 3 out-of-print stories about the living corpse, reintroducing the character for audiences who may have forgotten about the indie horror icon. In this oversized issue, the living corpse takes on Dr. Death, Mumbles the Clown, and the ghost of Edgar Allan Poe. It's good to see the living corpse back and kicking ass. The Grunch is from American Mythology. The story is by James Gohoric, S.A. Czech, with art by Claudio Avella. A group of vloggers get lost in the Louisiana bayou and end up on the menu for the toothy monstrosities known as the Grunch. This one seems to be inspired by Man-Thing and Swamp Thing with a bit of Gremlins thrown in. That cover is one of 3 sweet and bloody covers this series will be sporting. I'll most likely be taking a chance on this one, as I love me some mini monster creature feature stories. Kent Menace, Dangers of the Depths, #1, is from American Mythology. The story is by Mike Marlborough and Scott Braden, with art by Juan Castro and Jeff Dillon. Horror Magnet, Kent Menace, stars as the pulpy hero of this series. In this one, Kent takes on all sorts of monsters from the deep, with equal heaping portions of horror, action, and humor. Willy's Wonderland prequel #3 is from American Mythology. The story is by James Gohoric and S.A. Czech, with art by Puis Calzada. I really enjoyed Willy's Wonderland for the goofball ride it was, but that was mostly because of Nick Cage's fantastic silent lead performance. This series goes back in time, before Nick Cage's character comes into play, to show us how the animatronic monsters of the film become possessed with the souls of serial killers. If you've seen the movie, you're going to want to get this comic. I can't wait for it. The Walking Dead Deluxe #34 is from Skybound Comics. The story is by Robert Kirkman, with art by Charlie Adlard. Just as the supplies run out in the prison, the governor's men stage an attack. This is one of the more intense runs of the Walking Dead series, this time reprinted in full bloody color. Task Force Z #7 is from DC Comics. The story is by Matthew Rosenberg, with art by Eddie Barrows. A new crew of Gotham criminals are recruited by the Red Hood and Bane to take on zombified versions of heroes and villains in the next chapter of Matthew Rosenberg's gnarly horror series. Expect a whole lot of familiar yet rotting faces in this one. Little Monsters #3 is from Image Comics. The story is by Jeff Lemire, with art by Dustin Nguyen. Well, the human visitor who popped up at the end of the first issue is toast, but once these kid vampires have tasted the blood of the living, can they go back into hiding? It's going to be hard to get the toothpaste back into the tube in this can't-miss, vivid, and bloody vampire story. And here's what's coming out this Saturday for Free Comic Book Day in the genre of horror. Free Comic Book Day, Clementine #1 is from Skybound Comics. The story is by Robert Kirkman and Tilly Walden, with art by Tilly Walden. By the time Clementine was introduced in The Walking Dead, I think I tuned out of it, so I don't know a lot about this new character. Still, this is the next chapter of the Walking Dead saga, co-written by Robert Kirkman and young adult author Tilly Walden. This free issue is the jumping-on point of what seems to be a Skybound young adult imprint, so it'll be a hot one. I'll be checking it out to see if the tone of this series is something that I might be into. I'm not sure if it is, but I'll definitely be checking it out. Free Comic Book Day, Bunny Mask Tales #1 is from Aftershock Comics. The story is by Paul Tobin, with art by Roberto Ingranata. The supernatural spirit that goes by the name of Bunny Mask is on the prowl, and her wrath is bloody and deadly. This free comic book day edition sports 2 new stories set in the Bunny Mask universe, taking place after the tragic and frightening events of the first series. Fans of nightmarish horror will be the target audience for this one. Free comic book day, The Bone Orchard, Mythos, Prelude is from Image Comics. The story is by Jeff Lemire, with art by Andrea Sorrentino. This is the free comic book day issue I'm really looking forward to. Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino have joined forces to build their own horror universe, and The Bone Orchard, Mythos, is its debut. I know very little about this book or this new universe, but with a team like that behind the wheel, you know it's going to be top-tier terror. Can't wait. Any of these new comics interest you? I'll definitely be checking out Little Monsters, Willy's Wonderland prequel, The Grunch, and Task Force Z, and I'll also be seeking out all 3 horror-themed free comic book day issues this Saturday. How's about you? Let me know which ones you're looking forward to reading down in the comments.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be. Stuck inside